The greatest gamble in Red Bull's history at Milton Keynes. Red Bull Racing is currently stepping into a profound darkness of uncertainty through the most audacious ambition ever conceived since their inception in Formula One. They no longer wish to be a mere customer team, buying power from external sources. Instead, they are transforming into a full-scale manufacturer, seizing total control of their destiny through the massive Red Bull Ford Powertrains project. This is a terrifying leap of faith, as they must build everything from the ground up at the brand new Milton Keynes facility. Thousands of man-hours and trillions of rupiah in investment are being wagered on a dream to break free from the shadow of other engine suppliers. If this project succeeds, they will become eternal legends of the sport. But if it fails, it will signal the beginning of the end for an empire that has dominated the world's racing tracks with absolute and ruthless authority. Conquering the Mount Everest of modern F1 engine technology. Eternal rivals like Mercedes and Ferrari have not hesitated to label Red Bull's ambition as a Mount Everest challenge that is nearly impossible to conquer in such a short time frame. Building a competitive Formula One power unit from a completely blank sheet of paper is not a task for the faint of heart, especially when forced to chase decades of technological evolution held by global automotive giants. Red Bull is now racing against a ticking clock to create a mechanical masterpiece capable of matching the reliability of engines built by established manufacturers. The pressure they face is truly unimaginable, as every minor failure in this development process will be instantly exposed under the harsh glare of international media, which remains hungry for news of a downfall from a world champion team that is currently gambling so recklessly with its own legacy. The 2026 electric revolution reshaping the global racing map. The engine regulation changes for the 2026 season are not merely minor tweaks, they represent a total revolution that forces every team to completely rethink their concept of speed. Future engines will rely heavily on massive electrical power via an MGU-K unit capable of unleashing up to 350 kilowatts, equivalent to 470 wild horsepower. This figure represents a threefold jump compared to the hybrid systems used today, creating an incredibly complex and dangerous electrical engineering challenge for any newcomer. Red Bull, lacking a long history as an electrical components manufacturer, must ensure their batteries and software can manage this gargantuan energy explosion without failing or losing power mid-track. This is the new battlefield where software expertise has become just as vital as raw mechanical engine power in the quest for total track supremacy.
The secret fuel war hidden within the laboratories of Exxon. Behind strictly closed doors, a fierce chemical war is raging between fuel suppliers to determine who will dominate the podiums in 2026. Red Bull has partnered with ExxonMobil on a sacred mission to create a fuel that is 100% sustainable, yet possesses immense explosive performance and efficiency. This challenge is grueling, as they must refine household waste or captured carbon into a magical liquid capable of providing extra horsepower in every single drop. Every milligram of difference in this chemical composition could be the deciding factor between a glorious victory or a humiliating defeat on the asphalt. They must compete against the likes of Shell and Ferrari, who have conducted deep research for years, making this collaboration one of the most crucial pillars for their long-term survival in an era where green energy meets high-speed racing. Radical redesign of aerodynamics and the RB22 suspension. Leaked reports from inside the factory suggest that Red Bull is about to betray its own design philosophy by abandoning its highly successful pull rod suspension system. To accommodate the new, larger, and heavier power unit, they are reportedly forced to switch to a double pushrod system that will completely alter the airflow along the car's body. This radical transformation for the RB22 is a highly risky technical gamble because they have spent years perfecting a dominant aerodynamic concept. Presenter TV host. Changing the core foundation of the vehicle means they must discover entirely new ways to generate powerful downforce without relying on the proven tricks of the past. It is a move that is as brave as it is terrifying, as a single miscalculation in airflow could turn their future car into an unstable and sluggish machine that fails to master the corners. The brain drain phenomenon and the loss of genius Adrian Newey. In the midst of preparing for a storm of technological change, Red Bull must face the bitter reality of losing the most brilliant minds from their team. The departure of the legendary Adrian Newey, the architect behind every single one of their World Championship cars, is a staggering blow that shakes the team's internal stability to its core. Beyond Newey, the exit of other key figures like Rob Marshall and Jonathan Wheatley has created a massive void in the team's leadership and technical knowledge base. This brain drain, or the mass exodus of top-tier talent, is occurring at the worst possible moment, forcing the team into a sudden restructuring under new leadership. Without the Midas touch of the old geniuses, can Red Bull maintain its standard of perfection, or will they become trapped in a state of technical confusion that derails their championship aspirations?
Presenter TV host. The bitter reality of power deficits and FIA compensation systems. Chief Engineer Paul Monaghan has candidly admitted a painful truth: their new engine will likely suffer from an initial power deficit. As a newcomer, it is only logical that the Red Bull Ford engine lags several steps behind the maturity of Mercedes or Ferrari units that have been refined for a decade. Although the FIA is attempting to provide assistance through a system that allows new manufacturers extra testing time, this is far from a guaranteed solution for competitiveness. Extra testing time is merely an opportunity, not an instant fix for creating an engine capable of tearing through the track at top speeds. Red Bull must now rely heavily on chassis design miracles to mask weaknesses in the engine department, a strategy that is notoriously difficult to execute if the horsepower gap on the straights proves to be too wide to overcome through aero alone. Tension in the garage, and the deep concerns of Max Verstappen. Their star driver, Max Verstappen, usually known for his icy composure, has begun to voice profound concerns regarding the future of his team. He has openly predicted that during the first preseason tests of 2026, the team might spend significantly more time inside the garage than out on the track. This statement reflects the sheer complexity of the integration process between a new engine and a new car that mechanics must perform under immense time pressure.
Verstappen is acutely aware that even his extraordinary racing talent cannot save the day if he is handed a car that is unreliable or suffers from systemic failures. His close relationship with engineer Gianpiero Lambiase remains the only anchor of hope left amidst the massive uncertainty currently clouding his career path with the team that raised him to superstardom. Secret performance clauses and the threat of the champion's exit. Max Verstappen's future at Red Bull is currently hanging by a thread due to secret performance clauses embedded within his long-term contract. Although he is officially tied to the team until 2028, a failure of the Red Bull Ford engine project could serve as an exit door for the Dutch driver to seek refuge with a rival team. Mercedes and Toto Wolff have long been waiting at the door with open arms, ready to snatch the world champion if Red Bull fails to provide a competitive car. The pressure on team management has doubled. They must not only build a powerful engine, but also convince Verstappen that his future remains bright with them. If the 2026 engine ends as a technical disaster, we will witness the end of one of the most dominant partnerships in history, marked by a transfer that would shock the entire world. Awaiting the final verdict on the brink of a new Formula One era. The racing world is holding its collective breath to see if Red Bull's gargantuan gamble will yield sweet fruit, or mark the beginning of their ultimate downfall.
Every second ticking away in the laboratories and factories is a step toward a judgment day that will define their status as new rulers or grand losers. They have chosen the hardest path by building everything themselves, refusing to bow to a dependence on others for the sake of total technical sovereignty. The outcome of this project will answer the ultimate question of whether an independent racing team can truly defeat the giants of the global automotive industry on their own turf. In the coming months, we will begin to see the first signs of whether the Red Bull empire will stand firm at the peak of its glory or slowly crumble, buried by the weight of its own towering ambitions.